Pause. So, this is a guy's name, obviously a Frenchman if you couldn't tell. Let's say it together, okay? I'm going to say it and then we'll say it together. Thibaud. Thibaud. Boudignon. Boudignon. Okay, and the yon is like yon. Can you say yon? Yon. Thibaud Boudignon. Let's hear this young lady in the orange right here. Could you tell me the name of this producer? Beautiful, beautiful. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thibaud Boudignon. That's fantastic. It makes me want to talk with a French accent the rest of the time. Thibaud Boudignon, great producer, and this is, again, a great segue from our previous conversation in that these are completely natural wines. This is a guy that believes in, again, complete organic viticulture, biodynamic viticulture, and everything all the way to natural, where he doesn't add any yeast, he hardly uses any oak, he doesn't use any kind of manipulation as far as adding sugars or acids or yeasts or anything. He literally just throws it in a barrel, lets it ferment, pulls it out, bottles it, and he's done. It's the simplest and most natural method of making wine. And that's what you have here. So this is his rosé. This is kind of a cool story as well. But Thibaud himself, that's the owner and winemaker, very small batch winery. He actually, this gentleman used to be, now let me make this because I always confuse two producers. This is the one, yes. Thibaud Boudignon he used to be a jiu-jitsu champion. Anyone remember that from last time? Jiu-jitsu champion in France. He would travel around and do jiu-jitsu everywhere. He's this big burly guy. He's got a big beard, like 4 times the size of my beard, really big beard. But he has the touch when it comes to wine. He basically had a passion for wine and settled down in the Loire Valley. So we're going back to the Loire, so where we had that Sancerre earlier. Same region, except not in Sancerre. We're going a bit more to the west now to a place called Anjou. Anjou is a little region, again, on the Loire River, just further to the west from Sancerre. And the grapes grown there are typically like this is. Cabernet Franc is one, and Grolot is another. I told you guys this last time, and I'd say it again. I wouldn't really concern myself with that second grape called Grolot. It's maybe 20 to 30% of this blend. It's mostly Cabernet Franc, and if somebody asks, I would just tell them this is a Cabernet Franc rosé, okay? Because that's the Grolot is Grolleau, Grolot. Again, 98.9% of your customers have never heard of Grolleau, so that's why I wouldn't bore them with it. I would just keep it simple and say, if they ask, this is a great rosé from France made of Cabernet Franc. That's what it is, yes.
I was going to say, I believe that it's 70% of whatever grape is the majority, call it.
Yeah, so you're talking about the laws you're talking about? Yeah, so in California, that's the case, yes. California, so this gentleman just talked about the laws around if it's a certain percentage of the grape, you can put it on the label. So yes, that's in California. You can put, let's say, Cabernet on the label if it's 75% or more that grape. In fact, again, a great segue. It's like you guys know what's coming. One of the next wines is a Cabernet that says Cabernet on the label, but it's not 100% Cabernet. But they can put Cabernet on the label legally because it is 75% or more. I think this one's like 85% is what it typically is. In France, the laws are a bit different, and that's where this one doesn't even say Cabernet Franc. In fact, if I didn't tell you that, there would be no way to know that this is Cabernet Franc. It's basically like a lot of French wines. They tell you where it comes from. You see it's rosé, and you kind of have to deduce what is, the grape in there, or look it up on their website or whatever. Cabernet Franc is just what grows here, and I looked it up on their website, did the homework for you, and I can tell you it's Cabernet Franc is what the grape is here. But this is classic sort of French rosé. A lot of French rosé comes from in the southern part of France called Provence. You probably have seen and tasted maybe a lot of Provence rosés. This is going to be similar in style, just a different part of France and a completely natural winemaker. So I'd love to hear what you guys think about this wine.
Really nice acidity. Really nice acidity.
I'm not even going to spit that. I'm just going to drink that one. That's delicious. Thibaud Boudignon. So Boudignon. Yeah. Think of bou, like a ghost says. Din, I don't know, like D-I-N. And then gnon. Boudignon. Exactly. But yeah, on this one, talking about tasting notes, if someone were to ask, I'd say, hey, it drinks a lot like a lot of French rosés. It has bright acidity, like this gentleman said. Has really nice kind of, I would think more red fruits like strawberry cranberry, kind of those tart red fruits. But then it's very soft to get on the palate. Even though it does have the acidity, it ends in a bit of a creaminess, which tells me this might have, I don't know this for sure, but it might have a little bit of oak aging on it, which is really nice. Anything else on the Thibaud Boudignon Rosé?
What's the normal ABV on it?
This one's low. I mean, most natural wines are low. This is like probably 13.5.
So I was like, it's like natural. I figured it was different.
Yeah, in fact, this one, because again, laws, they don't have to specify. It says 11 to 14. Yeah. So if I were to guess, probably 12.5, 13 if I were guessing. Any other thoughts on this?
And is that because of the native yeast that's using it? Like it's
No, they just, if they have that option, a lot of wineries, because this is the thing, this is such a small winery. Oh, I'm going to pour myself something quickly. So, yeah, they don't want to reprint labels, and so they're like literally every vintage could be different. Again, with these guys, with wineries like this, they don't have a lot of money to throw around at printing a bunch of labels every year or changing design and paying someone to do that. And so a lot of times they'll just make a